great. Well, hello everybody. My talk is called Building a Platform with Multisite Drupal 7. So it's going to be all about the multisite feature. It's very Drupal 7. It's not anything to do with Drupal 8. And this is a case study of what our company has done. My name is Joel Stein. I live here in St. Louis. I have a family of 5 children, busy life, and so I need a product. I need something that can help me to build lots of websites without having a lot of work because family life is busy. I've been a Drupal user for 10 years and 10 months, so it's kind of an impressive thing, I guess. If you go and look, you'll see that I created my user account in 2006 or something like that. But I've been actively building websites on Drupal since, I guess, 2008, pretty much exclusively since then. I work for On Fire Media. This is a media company that I founded with my business partner who lives in Kansas City. And we build websites for all sorts of people. It's all Drupal. And what I'm going to give a talk about today is a website platform that we built using Drupal multisite. So why would you want to do that? Why would you want to build a multisite platform on Drupal? So in case you don't know what it is, I guess they labeled this as a beginner talk, so make sure that I cover that. Drupal's multisite feature lets you use the same single Drupal code base to power more than one website. So rather than, if you have 5 websites that you need to build, you could build 5 websites, or you could use the multisite feature. Whether or not that's a good idea is a really important point, because there's a lot of ways that you can, that multisite, the idea of a multisite thing just completely falls apart. I looked at it early on when I started building Drupal sites as kind of a, oh wow, I can only, one server, one Drupal installation, this is great. But there's a lot of reasons why you wouldn't do it, but we're going to focus on why you would do it right now. So what we've done is we've built a software as a service product. The idea being here that we're offering the same thing to all of our customers, and so Drupal multisite can make sense because everybody's getting the same thing. Where it can fall apart is if you're doing a lot of different things for people. So we're doing the same thing. So maybe you're building a software as a service product. You might consider doing this, spinning up a new instance of your software for a client or a customer. Would essentially be a new website powered by the same code base that would have a different database. That's it. There's opportunities to make that work really well. Maybe you're at a university and you want to build microsites for the different departments, or you have a bank and you want to have websites for all of the branches. Okay. Maybe you're working with a clientele that has smaller budget, and so this is a way that you can support them, because you can build websites more quickly than if you had to start from scratch on each project. And so this gives us an opportunity. In fact, this is the #1 reason why we built our platform, is because the clientele that we are connected to they're nonprofits and they don't have a lot of money, and so this is an opportunity for us but we really love them. I'm Catholic. I work with a lot of Catholic schools and parishes and stuff like that, so we want to be able to support them because we love their mission, but they can't afford to pay us to build a very complex and custom website. So this was a way for us to, be able to support those types of customers. Another reason why is there's just a kind of like a positive benefit of having something like this is you can spin up a new website quickly. Once you get everything set up and it's working, then you just create a new website with an installation profile or whatever it is that you have set up, and you've got a new website and it's ready to go. Conceptually, you can think of multisite as sort of an alternative to installation profiles. Maybe you've got, as a company, you've got kind of a core Drupal build that you start with for every client site that you're going to build, because you've got all of your best practices in there for SEO or for just content authoring, or however it is that you want to manage things, administrative tools. And so we do that too. You can have an installation profile. You can do something as quick and easy as just having a local copy of your best, your starting point. It's just a Drupal copy on your local machine, and then every time you have an opportunity to build a new website, you copy and paste the database in the code, and you just start from there, right? That works too. I mean, there's purists who will disagree with me, but it works great. Or you can build a multi-site platform. We just heard a great talk about organic groups. So this would be an alternative to organic groups, right? Because you think about each group has its own content and configuration and users. So you can use organic groups, or you can just build it at a multi-site where all the websites have the same offerings, but there's a further degree of separation between the data. Let's see. So in our case, another benefit for us is that as our clients request new features for the platform, we try to get them to pay for it, or we just build it. And the cool thing is, though, for us, everybody benefits that's on the platform. So just kind of like you would have with the software as a service. And if you fix a bug for one client, it's fixed everywhere. This is kind of fun for us. So we'll find just one of the things that's kind of neat about this project for us is that we have so many websites now that we're powering that we're attracting a lot of users for these websites, and it means that the type of user that are coming to the site's growing, like the type of browsers that they're using, or just whatever. And so they find all kinds of edge cases that we fix, and then suddenly we never have to think about it again for any other client on that project. So that's kind of exciting. And then on the support side of things, just from the business perspective, it's easier to support. It's harder to support a lot of websites if as your business grows and your evolution of your products grow. It's difficult to offer the same level of support because you change the way that you build websites. So what's kind of fun about this is that we can build help pages and we can even hire an intern to help us manage the things on the support side. But there are challenges. There are definitely challenges with building a multi-site platform. This is, foresight is required with everything. So, you have to, what we're doing is we're building an opinionated platform. It means that we want the design of the architecture and design of the authoring experience and all that sort of thing to be smart and definitely opinionated. It's not infinitely flexible, which means that we have to consider everything that we do. We have to consider how difficult it's going to be down the road, or what future problems this new change is going to introduce. So that's so you have to go slow, think about things. Another obvious challenge is if you break something, it's broken everywhere. This has totally happened for us, and thankfully, very few times. And we've had an extraordinary amount of success in keeping the thing online over the last year since we've had it. In fact, I think the only time the site's ever been down has been during deployments, which is great. And that's another challenge. Another challenge to doing something like this is if you have an opinionated software, it means that you've shaped it in a particular way, which means that in general you have less flexibility. So, and part of the fun with building Drupal sites is you can build anything. I mean, that's one of the fun things that I enjoy as a service provider, is having a client come to me and say, "Can you do this?" And we say, "Absolutely, yeah. It's built on Drupal. We can do whatever you want." So this is definitely not the case here, right? With this type of approach, you say, "No, we can't build everything." But we're trying to architect a solution that is smart and will meet the use case of most of the needs of our clients. So I say it's not ideal if you have one site on the platform that has highly customized needs. It's possible. In fact, what we're realizing now after doing this for a year is that the way, kind of like the architecture and the way that we've sort of set things up has been well established now. We've done it for a year and it's working well for all these websites. That it becomes, in a certain sense, almost like a API, or that's not really the right word, but a design model that we can build custom modules for clients on the platform, provided that we follow sort of like strict guidelines, So you can do that sort of stuff, but you have to be careful because then you have to maintain it and support it. And if you're doing that just for one client, then you want to make sure that they're paying you to do that. Other challenge is that growth brings scalability concerns. So when you have 5 websites on your platform, you've got 5 domains that are bringing traffic into your server, and you've got 5 groups of people that are out there actively promoting their website on social media and all this sort of stuff. But then when you get 10 or 15 or 20 or 50 websites, then you have a lot more traffic, and so you have to make sure that you're monitoring things, you're ready to scale when you need to. I guess that's the case for any website, but with a product-based thing that could grow quickly, you have to think about that. Also, you have to be careful about. We've had to be careful about the way that we deploy, and I'm really glad that I heard the one talk earlier about making machines automate everything, because for the last year I've been deploying everything by hand, and I'm ready to write a script that just does it. I mean, it's like a tried and true path that I've trodden, so I can trust that it's the right way to do it. I just have to get computers to do it. But when you've got 70 websites and you're clearing caches on each one of them, right? That can be a very time-consuming process. So you have to think about the best way to approach that, so to minimize downtime for people. So like right now, what we're doing is either late at night, we'll just do them all at once, or what I want to do is put together a strategy where I've got sort of like 2 document routes. One is the old copy, the branch before I just merged all this stuff in, and it's the sites, and then I just pull one off and basically move everything over and from one to the other and run the update.php and all that sort of thing, so that each one is going independently rather than all at the same time. So you just have to think about those sorts of things. And then obviously the biggest #1 threat is that you have a single point of failure. So if the server goes down, or if one of your websites has an enormous amount of traffic, it can penalize everybody else. We haven't had that problem yet, and it could be that our websites are just really unpopular. I think that's partly the case, who knows. But we've also taken care to be very careful with the caching and make sure that the server has the resources it needs. Eventually, I know that we're going to have to set things up in a load balanced environment and all that sort of thing, but we're not there yet. So our solution, what we built, it's a case study, so I'm going to talk a little bit about what we built. Right now we have a website builder that's powering 70 websites around the US. We have a strong focus on an intuitive content authoring experience, which I'll demo to you guys. We've taken care to make sure that the thing is very opinionated in terms of the design of how people use it and the content design and configuration. So there's fewer options. We heard a talk earlier about how important it is to give few options and have a better design than to have a bajillion options. And if you've ever downloaded a Drupal module, you have like all kinds of options. So we don't want our clients to think about that. We just want to hide all of that and make it super easy so that they can't break anything. So we focused a lot on that. We've also focused the solution, it's designed to meet the most common website use cases. So this wouldn't include stores with highly customized workflows, websites that do a lot of very custom, event registration type of thing, but you want to build like a website for your church or a website for your small business. You're basically focused mostly on content, and so we want to make sure that the authoring experience is really nice. But what we did was we built a platform to meet that use case. We also built it, if you're familiar with the features module, so everything is bundled as a feature, and that means that we can use features the way it was originally meant to be used, which is to bundle in new functionality, so with an upgrade. So let's say you've got a blog feature. Not every website needs a blog, but if you need a blog, we've got a blog feature. You turn it on, it's got all these cool features now that your website has a blog. And so from a business model, that means that we have opportunities to sell these things as additional upgrades. It also means that, again, it requires a little bit of smart design, but it also means that we can meet the needs of different types of users. So, for instance, churches have these church bulletins that they print every week. And there's like these PDFs that they print out, and they always want to have them on their website. So if you're a church, we have like a bulletin feature, and it has all the cool stuff that you would need for church bulletins stuff on your website. And we're not going to really like make that available to a small business because it's not meeting their use case. But it's been kind of fun to design these little packaged add-on upgrades with our product. Okay, so the way that we are building the site is if you're familiar with Panoply, it's very much like Panoply. It's a very panels IPE experience, very heavy on the panels side. And we wanted to make every page just basically that you can just plop a widget into the page. So we call everything a widget. So we've got these widgets here that you can see on the screen. And we've been building more widgets. When you turn on the blog module, now you have like blog-related widgets that you can add to your page. From a content design perspective, I really like this, and it's something that I think makes a lot of sense. And it's difficult, and it's not something that you can really get out of the box with Drupal. You have blocks, and I guess that's a little bit nicer in Drupal 8, but I really like the way that Panels manages things and how you can, and especially with the Panels IPE experience, you can do a front-facing content authoring experience. And so we've taken that to the extreme and then built all these widgets, and so there's no back-end content forms, you just basically do all the work on the front end. So these are some of the core widgets that we have. We also have some feature modules, so if we're going to create a new feature module, it would expose new content types, new taxonomy vocabularies, new widgets that you can place into a page. It might expose a new role, like a blogger role and permissions. Any special functionality that goes along with that project, and then back-end configuration. So some examples are like a blog, calendar, a store. So there's Drupal Commerce, which is really popular and has taken off. But before that, there was UberCart. And what's nice about UberCart is that it's all there. It's easy, and it just all works. And I know I have a lot of familiarity with UberCart because I built lots of UberCart sites in the old days. And then we have additional, like add-ons just for a particular group, right? So depending on the kind of use case that you're building a multi-site platform for, you come up with different features and then turn them on for certain groups. This project has yielded some fruit for the Drupal community. We contributed a few modules back that we built for this project. So web form Stripe, you can go take a look at it. It's a very simple way to collect payment for any web form submission. So if you guys have ever worked with having to collect event registrations or any of that stuff in Drupal, it's kind of a painful experience to go through the the discovery phase to see what options are out there, because there's not an easy just turn it on and it works solution. So we tried to build something like that. With web form you can create a configurable form that gathers user input, and then you can attach a Stripe button to it. And so you can do sort of a light store, right? You can just have only one field that's just the Stripe button for payment, and you can sell things on your website. Or you could do online donations, or you could do new member registrations. There's just a lot of use cases for this, and it's super easy. It's so easy. If you know how to use web form, then you can collect payments through Stripe. And we like Stripe because it has a great developer experience. Another module that we built for this project was features role permission. So there's a few modules out there that deal with roles and permissions on the features side of things. If you've ever worked with features and you need to export the permissions associated with a role, there's not. What we were looking for was a way that we could export a single permission for a single role and bundle that in a feature in a way that wouldn't conflict with any other module. And I think out of the box, features gives you a way to export all of the permissions for all of the roles for a particular permission, which, if you could imagine, you have a blog feature and you want to export a role in there, well, you can have conflicts really quickly. So this is very granular, but you have a lot of flexibility. So it's out there, and you guys can use it if you want to. I haven't done this yet, but I built, we did a lot of refining on the Panels IPE experience. And so I built a Panels IPE Plus module, which is essentially just extending the functionality that Panels IPE has, and then adding in lots of nice things that I think it's lacking. And I'd like to put this out on Drupal.org. If anybody has interest in it, just let me know, and I'll go through the work, and we can work on it together. But some of the notable things that it does is it lets you edit mini panels from the front end. So if you guys have ever worked with mini panels, there's no way for you to work with it in any kind of meaningful way on the front end. You have to go to the back end. And mini panels provide a lot of flexibility in a content authoring experience. So anybody that's built a website with panels knows why mini panels can be useful. Another thing that, just little things. You can trigger the IPE, the Panels IPE, after you create a node rather than having to click a button. Or after you change the layout, it automatically gives you the option to start building again. When you add a new pane, it drops it to the bottom of the page rather than at the top of the region. And just lots of stuff like that. So, and then there's lots of patches. I keep busy by posting lots of patches for modules that I find that I have to use. So we've given back where we can. So some boring technical stuff. We use panels for everything. So we use panels for nodes with Panelizer and taxonomy terms. We use it on the theme using the Panels Everywhere module. So all of our themes, we don't have template files. We're using exported panel templates, panel layout things. We have a refined front-end authoring experience. I'm going to demo all this. Everything's a panelized page node. If it's not a page, a page node, or even if it's not a node, it's still panelized. So we still got a lot of flexibility to the users to customize the way their website looks. Everything's a widget. So everything that's on the site is a widget. We don't really have fields on the back end that are doing stuff on the front end, except for like meta-related information. So on our calendar feature, there's a date field, right? So you go to the edit tab to put the date in, but when you're creating the content, you do that on the front end. Yeah, we used features to build it. We created stock themes. So what we try to do with our product is that we have 9 or 10 stock themes, and you can use those for free, or you can pay us to build a custom theme. So having some standard themes means that we do a lot less work, and then we just try to make those themes customizable. So we use less to customize the variables per website, to change colors and that sort of thing. And then we expose mini panels in the theme regions so that they can, if they want to change like the header of their website or the footer of their website, they can do it in a mini panel. We consider that to be content, so we don't really care what they do in that space. We just export it with the theme. Some even more boring technical stuff. We're using PHP 7, which is wonderful. It's wonderful. It's a hands down, makes the website so much faster, and it solved a lot of our scalability issues just with that one change. And that is, as it is right now, most of the contributed modules in Drupal core, of course, runs on PHP 7. And if it doesn't, you just write a simple patch. It's not hard to get your module working with PHP 7. Right now we have a 4 gigabyte VPS with 2 cores that's powering the thing, but it worked just fine when we had the smaller VPS. We only upgraded because we needed more hard drive space. We're using Boost. It's just, again, it's a cheap and easy thing. There's more exciting things like Varnish that we could be using, but I know how to use Boost, so we're using Boost. There's a cache expiration module, which we can use to invalidate pages when certain widgets change. We're using Apache Solr for search. So we've got all 70 websites. There's search indexes for each one of them on a single Apache Solr website, and it's great. It runs fast, it's super easy. We're using Amazon S3 for backups, nightly backups, and when we archive a website, it's out there. It's cheap storage. We're using Sentry. It's its own software as a service product that we connected to the website to send all of our bugs out of our server, and just so that we can get notifications via email. That's been a huge blessing, by the way. If you don't have a tool like that and you want to see what's going on in your application, find a bug tracker and use it, because your users may tell you when they find a bug, but your visitors won't. And so this is a great way to uncover all sorts of hidden stuff. We're using SendGrid to deliver emails for all of these websites and make sure that they actually get there and that they don't bounce back. And we're running cron on all websites every 15 minutes with the help of Ultimate Cron. So, things are reasonably up to date, and all the scheduled maintenance stuff that has to happen on an application. And it's running fine. It's just kind of humming along in the background and doesn't take up too many resources. And we have SSLs with let'sencrypt.org, which makes it really easy for you to get SSL support for your website for free. You just run some lines on the command line. So these are the types I just thought maybe you guys would find these interesting, because these are the sorts of, we don't do all of these things that you see here for all the websites that we work on. They're good practices, but it's been fun to have a project where we needed to do these things. So I just want to share them with you. So let me do a brief demo. I'm not going to show you a whole lot here, but let me just show you just a moment here. give them everything they want. Why am I going to start all over? You know, so I can appreciate why. I don't know. We'll just see, I guess, what happens.
Did you develop in D6?
Yeah, and I had the same.
Yeah, you had the same experience going from D6 to 7. You're like,
No, but it wasn't as painful. It was basically field API in core, CCK in core. I had to get over that hump, and once I got that, it was more or less the same. It's a really radical departure from the developer experience. You know, you go from a largely procedural thing, right, to you know, having all these doc blocks and classes and files and the PSR spec and all that. It's a lot. It's cool. I mean, I like it. It's a lot of fun, and if you have the time to mess with it, I don't know why you wouldn't switch and do it. But
I think a lot of what you're doing, like Larry was saying, is not terminally norm-centric, but because everything D8 is entity-based, what you are going to need to do when the time comes, a lot of it will be there by the time you're ready to go.
Sure, and maybe I'll just, you know, fire up the migrate API and do, you know, but I mean, it's like with everything in business. There has to be a strong business reason for me to mess with it, and right now there's not. I've got everything I need with Drupal 7. And I'm able to meet our clients' needs affordably, and I don't have to like start from scratch and build it all over again. So we'll see. Anyway, it was a case study, and so
that's great.